fantastic. Oh, wow, this is great. Thank you so much for joining us. And you all watching us, or either now or later, I just need you to know that EJ's on the fly. We have a hurricane happening down in Florida right now, and it's going to affect Macon in several ways. It looks like maybe, possibly not very seriously on the weather front, although I think we're going to get up to close to 35, 40 mile per hour gust, I think. But what we are hit by is a lot of evacuees. So let me just introduce you all to Edward Bess. Look, I think you go by EJ. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. I'm very excited that you're here with us, and I met him at a emergency preparedness fair that we did about a week ago, and
Hmm.
I think you guys are going to love this guy, and it's probably good to know him. And he works for the American Red Cross. So, EJ, take it away for a minute and tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got involved in the Red Cross.
Oh, okay. Um, well, I'm an Atlanta native. And here in Georgia, here in Atlanta, we say, well, you never meet any true Atlantans for some reason because everybody moves away. But I am a true Atlantan, originally from here. I spent my first stint of my career. I was in the military. Did a little time there, and I went to public safety to law enforcement for about 19 years after that. So after that, I decided I moved up the ranks in law enforcement. Um, I was a person that made the big problems small ones. And so with that, I was always used to managing the chaos. I always got pretty decent at it. And that's when I decided to come to the Red Cross. And now at the Red Cross, what I am is called a disaster program manager. And what that job entails is that I'm supposed to coordinate and monitor the conditions and the preparedness for my section of Georgia. So I monitor 15 counties in the state of Georgia, make sure everything is up and running in the event that someone needs to push that panic button. So right now, what we have in Georgia, we have possibly people about to evacuate from Florida. Well, people are evacuating from Florida, and coming up the expressways, the main thoroughfares, and they're coming from the coast of Georgia also from the east. They'll come through me, through the Macon Bibb area. And so that is just one of those main thoroughfares where the expressways just kind of interconnect because it's the centralmost part of Georgia. So right now, what I'm doing is making sure that everybody has everything that they need. Make sure I can feed a few hundred people. Make sure I can house, shelter a few hundred people in the event that they decide to come here. So we got things in place, and it's going well so far.
Oh, fantastic. So just uh, I guess, if anybody's watching this live or is going to watch it in the next 12 hours, what is Red Cross doing, I guess, in regards to the whole mass of evacuations, and what shelters are there in this area and what's available? Or how can people find out, what's available?
Um, Realistically, what we do is we get people to either Red Cross has three ways, and well, actually more like four. The first way is, of course, 911 service. They will tell people where the local shelters are if if necessary. But if you're looking for a Red Cross specific shelter, there are three ways that you can get a Red Cross specific shelter. One is if you have the Red Cross emergency app, it'll have your location, so it'll direct you to a shelter nearest your location with your phone, which is always good. Another way is if you would go to redcross.org, and it it's a tab that says Get Help. And once you click on that tab that says Get Help, it'll say Find Shelter. And from then, your location will pick up, and it can direct you to the nearest shelter. And another way, the third way, is to call 1-800 Red Cross, or we have a Red Cross national dispatch line where we tell people to call, and that way they can get the help that they need nearest them.
I got you. Um, and I just want to just touch on base, and I'm going to do this a lot in our conversation. And I hope this is only one of many future conversations you and I all get to have.
Yes.
And so I'm excited about that. But tell me what you know in regards to the shelter, and maybe in regards to Hurricane and what Red Cross. Is there information that might be available specifically regarding people with disabilities and possible access to shelters?
Yes. Um, what as in regards to our shelters, uh, once we to approve a shelter, they usually, most all of them, I can say most, 95% of them, which is not 100% because all of them don't have ADA accommodations, but we do take note of that. And as of now, in the Macon Bibb area, if anyone had to evac to the Macon Bibb area, all of my shelters are ADA compliant.
Oh, that's
So
fantastic.
we have ADA showers, bathrooms, and accommodations for with ADA.
Oh, that's fantastic. And
Yes,
yeah, and I appreciate that. And it's good to know. And it's good to know because I remember when I think it was the Hurricane Matthew came, and
hmm
there were some individuals that came, and they had some challenges, and some of their equipment they left behind. But one good news is that where they were there to get into the shelter with themselves, as well as the pet that was with them, and as well as
yes,
a son that had a disability. So it was important. So we really appreciate the work that you guys do. Um, so one question. I'm going to see if this will work. Let's see if you see it. There we go. How do people find these shelters? And I think you kind of mentioned it. Is possibly through the app.
yes.
Okay.
You can download the app, or you can uh, call. You can go with 1-800 Red Cross, and that way they can direct you to where a nearest shelter in your area would be. Because and the reason for that is because uh, you might be actually closer to a shelter than one that I could say off the top of my head right now.
Hmm.
Because we have several different shelters all over Georgia and all over Macon Bibb. So we want you to get the help that you need. We want to get it fast and efficient as possible.
Right. Right. Um, so with Red Red Cross specifically, how do you work together with some of the other shelters, or is this just kind of when y'all just get full force into managing these few shelters during this time?
Yes, actually, we work hand in hand with our local partners. And the good thing about those partnerships is just that one entity won't be inundated with all of the work. So what I mean by that is, like in this case, in the Macon Bibb area, Red Cross is handling the sheltering, and Salvation Army is handling the feeding. You get what I'm saying? So that way everybody has a hand in it, but everybody won't have to handle the bulk of the load. And nursing and medical care is handled by Department of Public Health at this particular moment. But they're short staffed like everyone else
Hmm.
is, so we have Red Cross nurses to supplement that.
Okay, fantastic. Um, so, in relation to, and our topic is emergency preparedness, and so we were
Yes,
talking about the current situation. So, if you're evacuating to another area, what is some of the things? And I know you guys have produced a lot of great material, and your website is full of good information. But what
yes,
are some of the things that people can do to best prepare to evacuate? And then we'll talk about maybe some other things that can be done during the emergency, or if you're having to stay local. But as far as the whole evacuation, I think the big term is, and I can hear one of my staff people going, got to have a go bag.
yes. I'm glad you actually brought that up. I have we have a class that we teach called Be Red Cross Ready, and three main things when it comes to being prepared if you have to bug out, which means if you have to leave your home. And we also have situations where people have to bug in, which means they have to stay and hunker down and stay safe. Because if all possible, if you can stay in your home and stay safe, yes. If it's safe to stay home, yes, stay home. And have your supplies and things like that handy. Now we encourage people that if it's chaos outside, don't go into chaos. Don't go into chaos. Stay in your safe zone. But in the event that you have to leave in a go bag, there are a few things that we talk about when it comes to go bags. You always want a way to stay informed, which is this thing that we have here that all of us have,
Yeah.
that old cell phone. Stay informed. And when it comes to staying informed, get with a credible news source or a site like the National Weather Service or an actual news weather channel. That way you can stay informed. Social media, 90% of everything on social media is false. Social media is not a credible way to stay informed because it's nothing is fact checked and everything is opinion based as it pertains to a lot of social media websites. So just kind of be careful when it comes to
Yeah.
staying informed.
And I
Another
imagine,
thing,
and I imagine some of that has to do with the fact that it's just we're venting, we're reacting to whatever the situation is, which can
yes,
create fear, it can create panic, and things like that.
yes,
So yeah,
yes. So that's one thing. Stay informed. Another thing is, of course, have some type of first aid knowledge. Now, what I tell people is that Red Cross, we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful first aid app. Oh my goodness, that app works wonderful. And literally, it has you can scroll down, and it's very user friendly. That you can actually have it for every situation, and they also have uh, first aid for pets. So Red Cross First Aid app and First Aid for Pets app, those are two great apps that you can download, and they work wonderfully. Once you download them, they actually work offline, which is good because they have videos that walk you through processes on how to actually do things, even down to bug bites, heat stroke, heat exhaustion, heart attack, you name it, it has it. Now, of course, when it comes to go bags are a lot different. I used to teach this class also for preparedness at the local police departments. But that was my old job when it came down to counterterrorism type stuff. But their go bag was a little bit different. I always tell people in a go bag, you got to have a light source. Funny way of saying a flashlight. uh, a flashlight, some type of first aid kit, and make sure that you have your medicines. I always tell people to get 90 days, get with your pharmacy and get 90 days worth of medicines, especially if you're insulin dependent, and rotate them out as you get them in. That way they won't expire and things like that. That way you have enough medicines in the event that you have to bug out. Make sure that you have your medicines with your first aid. You can have your normal stuff like your I'm sorry, receiving a call.
oh
You can have your normal stuff like the band-aids and the boo-boo kit, and also, yes, also, I always tell people have a set of a set of clothes, or a sweatshirt or something like that that you can keep warm with. It doesn't have to be a whole lot of stuff. Maybe a sweatshirt and a skull cap. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on a go bag at all, and maybe just carry some water and some energy bars, depending on how long you plan on actually leaving your home. You don't have to stuff yourself or laden yourself down with gear and stuff like that. Most of what you want is just the essentials. Make sure that you have enough snacks and things like that to get you from one place to another, from one safe point to another. If you have to leave your home, you want to be able to get from one safe point to another if you're evacing. So let's say if you're coming from Florida to Georgia on the evac, make sure that you have enough snacks and things on hand for your family, emergency kit as far as your car goes, in case something breaks down, and that way you can get to safety. Because you're leaving a situation and going to another situation. Have a plan on where you're going to go. Do not move that car out of the driveway until you know where you're going to go.
That is so smart.
So you know where you're going to go.
Just
So,
one little added practical thing to that is, you brought up the cell phone, and if you have backup power to that phone,
yeah.
I remember during Hurricane Irma, everybody was going to the car, cranking the car to crank up their phones. Um, so that becomes kind of a panic issue. So if you have backup power, it's kind of possibly worth getting a solar generated battery pack or something like that. But in regards to wheelchairs and power chairs, that is something
Yes.
to really think about and have a plan. So and decision that you have to make potentially in the last minute. Am I going to have enough power to continue to keep this thing charged? So do you have a backup manual chair? That is a good reason to try to get a manual chair. And I can tell you, my wife and I, we have one in our attic. It's a manual chair just in case. As the worst case scenario, if we lose power for a long time, if we lost power and we can't even drive the chair, at least we can leave our
Oh, wow.
location. The other
It's a
thing that
very good
we
idea.
Yeah, and the other thing that we did too is because we use power lifts um, to be able to transfer, and that lift is battery dependent, and it's only going to last so long. It does pretty well, but if it's going to be a long, extended time, we actually found used, and sometimes you can find them used, is a Hoyer lift. It's a manual lift. It's also up in the attic. And it's probably not bad to check it every so often. I'm reminding myself to do that to make sure that the hydraulics work and all that. So that's just kind of a little tidbit in regard to disability and being prepared to be on the ready.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me, we have the hurricane going, but in aspects of other emergencies, what other kind of emergency situations? And I'll tell you one thing before I turn it over to you, is that my family went through actually we went through two fires. And I do remember having something we did with Red Cross. And so I'm kind of interested in that situation, because sometimes we get a call from somebody who has just been through something like that. I hope you're still with me. There we go. Yeah, good.
Yes. I'm sorry, my phone is losing power. I'm just transferring to another one in the event that I lose you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The same link works twice. I can add you to guest number two. I can have two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys ever get to go to a fair or a conference, you got to meet EJ. He's a bundle of joy. You can say, there he is. All right. All right. We might go ahead and switch to that.
Okay, great.
Oh,
Okay. For
yeah.
some reason, my other one is not charging, and I have no charger.
Oh, well, I can imagine you're
So,
overusing it today.
hello?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I imagine your cell phone is being overused today.
Yes, completely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about what Red Cross does in relation to fire, flood, or any other emergencies.
Oh, that's great. Another thing that Red Cross does is when it comes to emergencies, like anything disaster related, uh, we respond to a lot of fire calls, a lot of storm calls, like tree falls on someone's house, things like that. We respond to a lot of those different things. And what we do is we come out and we want to give people that we're helping the assistance that they need to kind of support their recovery, because it can be a very, very long road when it comes to recovering from any type of disaster or like a fire or someone's home burns down. It can be a very, very long road to recovery. So what we do is we initially get someone out that can meet your needs for at least the first 24 to 72 hours because those are the most critical times. During those times, people need the essentials, which is food in their stomach and a roof over their head. So we come out and give that immediate assistance for at least the first 3 days, and then we put together a case. We assign a caseworker, and we transfer it to a recovery team to people that can actually support your recovery, which means with whether it's additional housing or how to get to additional housing, and or even I've even heard of job search, things like that. So we have tons of things that can help people support their recovery to help them get back on that path because they need that extra help and to be jump started, so to speak. And like we said, it can be a very, very long road. We've seen these things take an extensive amount of time to recover from. So that's particularly what we do on a daily basis. And when we're in that mode, that's what we call blue sky, which means that that's a time for us to actually engage the community. We can actually help people through fires and storms.
I think we
Is a
might have
kind of
lost it. There we go.
gloomy and kind of going downhill, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. I've got you. Um, and I know you've got to get on
David, did I lose you?
a little bit. You're coming in and out a little bit. Good old cellular technology. Like I said, I think there's a lot of people using cell phones right now and coming into our
I hope
area.
I didn't lose you.
No, we're still here. Can you hear me? Hello? Hopefully, we'll get him back. All right. We'll give him a moment. Maybe his signal will clear up in just a moment. But let me go ahead and put back up on the screen for everyone. There is the Red Cross 1-800 number, and this is a number that you might want to have nearby at any given time. Because if our cell phones go out and you can't find yellow pages because you haven't seen them in a long time, or white pages, a phone book, it might be a little difficult to find, it might be good to have the Red Cross nearby. So that number is 1-800 Red Cross, or 1-800-733-2767. And here we go. And EJ's back. Let's go ahead and get him back with me here. There we are.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
Oh, that's quite all right. Um, like I said, a lot of phones are being used right now. It's a lot of competition for the bandwidth. Okay. And we were talking a little bit about what y'all do in multiple types of emergencies in order to get connected with you all, and you kind of navigate that long haul. But what one big thing that you all are very known for, and that's blood drives. Tell me a little bit about that, and then I've got a question or two about that.
Okay. Uh, Great. Yes, we host blood drives. We have a few locations that we host them all the time. One main place that I host blood drives is out of my Macon office. We host one every Wednesday without fail. Like one is going on right now. They just took over my whole office in the Macon area, and it's fine. I love it. We give blood every time we can too. Red Cross is pretty much split into a few different services, about 4 different services. One is disaster services, which is where I primarily work. The second one is blood services, which is, of course, blood donations, getting it to the hospital, getting it across country to where it has to go or what have you. And we have a training division, which is training people on CPR, lifeguard, stuff like that. And we have fundraising because Red Cross is a nonprofit. We have to raise funds for these type of things. But blood services is they do a myriad of things. They go out. We have several teams that go out every day without fail, rain, sleet, or snow. And they go out with their blood vans and they hook it up and they make it happen. And what they do is they get their blood back to a central blood center. We train phlebotomists. They are actually medically trained, which is good. And they once they draw the blood and things like that, they're very careful with you. We have some of the best people sticking in Georgia. I mean, they are phenomenal. You worry about people at the doctor's office tearing up your arm. These are not those people. I mean, they are phenomenal. They are great at what they do. They're gentle with you. They're kind to talk to. And when it comes down to it, we get that blood out to wherever it actually needs to go, wherever blood bank, whatever blood storage center we have to get it to, and we'll travel it across country if we have to.
That sounds incredible, and I think what you just said takes a lot of fear out
Yeah.
of the giver of
Yes.
blood. Just out of curiosity, are, are there advantages? And I think the term is autolog, autologous or directed donation. Is there a way that family members maybe going through a particular crisis or a particular surgery, is do y'all handle direct um, donations? And I'm sure
Uh,
you've got a terminology for it.
I know what you mean. We particularly don't handle that, but I think that we can facilitate it. That is usually done directly through a hospital service, because I'm kind of familiar with that from the military. We have these what we call walking blood banks, where the 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 chief surgeon, he'd walk in, the child, he goes, walking blood bank, and you'll have a whole bunch of soldiers that stand up. I'm ready to give blood right now, and you can actually transfer it directly on. But Red Cross does not currently have that service, but we can facilitate that through a doctor's office.
Okay, that sounds just
Yeah, that's normally taking place through, yeah, a
yeah,
physician.
and I know just some people struggle with certain blood types and things like that. So
Yes.
it's one of those kind of questions that come up a lot. So again, do you have any words? And I know you're getting calls and you're going to be pulled on in regards to our audience, our community here. Is there anything you want to leave with words in regards to disability, preparedness, and Red Cross? Uh,
Oh, I would just like to tell you that one thing about Red Cross is just that everybody's included. No one gets left out. And I know in the ADA community, a lot of times it's hard finding accommodations and people get left out. But Red Cross is not the organization where you get left out. Even down to your pets. We will take care of your pets too. Everybody and everything is welcome.
that is extremely good to know because that is one of the biggest fears that some people have and will not leave their place or struggle
Yeah.
in regards to that. So, EJ, thank you so much. And I want to do this again. We need to have a 2.0 of this, if you don't mind, and maybe when things calm down for you. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for spending time with me. And it's great to get to meet you for one and get to talk to you a little bit more. And maybe next time we can have you swing by here and we can do it in person. Um, but
That'd be great.
yeah, and just please feel free to call out to Disability Connections too, because I know you might run into individuals in the shelters or or anything going on. We are a resource, and I want Red Cross to make sure they know who we are and what we do as well. And we do have an online community called the Disability Connection. It's a link on our main website, which is disabilityconnections.com. But it's a way to kind of communicate with staff regularly as well as other members, but also to be able to see this interview and other information in regards to disability. And we're going to try to collect and build a lot of information on emergency preparedness. So if you've got anything to add to our community, feel free to reach out. You're welcome anytime, and I'm going to probably be calling on you as well. So.
Okay, great.
All right, I appreciate it. Tell hello to your daughter. I got to meet her the other day, and EJ is a fantastic fellow, and I just want to say a big, huge thank you for being willing to pull over and actually join us today.
Not a problem.
All right, well, you take care, EJ, and take care. Thanks, and we'll be praying for you through all this chaos. You're the man
Okay.
for the job. All right, take care.
No.
All right, bye bye. All right, everybody, that was EJ Bess and with the American Red Cross here, and he's our local rep. And so I hope this information was valuable. It was for us, and we might grab pieces of this interview and put it on our website. And if you're watching this and you're not a part of our community, we desperately want you to join us. Just so that we can be a resource. And it may be that you may not want to interact. Although we have great chats, we have polls, questions, and other information. We have courses online and different groups and some of them are quite private. We have a parent support group called Parents Are Vital in Education and Life. There's a lot of different activities that we have. So we implore you, encourage you to join us at disabilityconnection.tv. Actually, it's disabilityconnections.tv. And or you could go to our main website, disabilityconnections.com, and look on the link that says community and just click there. And just all you have to do is fill out a little bit of a questionnaire. It's free to everyone, and there's maybe a charge here and there for little bits and things, but most everything we have is for the Middle Georgia community and for people with disabilities, really anywhere to join us. So thank you all for joining us for this live edition of the Disability Connection, and we will see you again soon. We'll announce, and if you're on the community, you'll know what's coming up next. So anyway, everybody have a great day and stay safe through this storm. Stay inside, stay sheltered, and stay prepared. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone.